Setting trends, setting new things. We built the, not the first, but the second or third Gurdwara in the city. And we started the first Nagar Kirtan, Sikh parade, and we have Mr. Bates in our presence, one of the gentlemen that was key organizer that founded the parade. And now we have Sikh parades, Nagar Kirtans in all over the country. We also, like I said earlier, we started a festival, one of the first, and now we have festivals in every community. So this community, something about Yuba City, the water in Yuba City, it's a pioneering community, does a lot of great things, and especially Punjabi American Heritage Society is doing a great job. So I would like you to give a hand to Punjabi American Heritage Society. Along with things like the first Nagar Kirtan, festivals, TV shows, radio shows, Gurdwara, it also involved, after 9/11, getting into the political arena, and they chose me to run for city council, and I was a successful first local person to run for politics, and that credit goes to Punjabi American Heritage Society. So now we've been here for a while. We wonder, what are we doing? Are we still, the goals, the policies, the objectives that we set that were developed back in the early 90s, are we still on track, or do we need to fine tune? Do we need to think, modify what we're doing? Do we keep doing the same mela forever, or do we keep getting into new things? And tonight what we're doing is one of those things. We brought together like-minded people from our community. Everybody in here is a special person from this community. You were invited as a special guest, as a special by invitation only. So we and we have a great speaker. I'm going to introduce Dr. Broad. He will tell you a lot more about him. But our goal is to have like-minded people, successful people from the community come together and have a nice meal, and have a speaker who's an expert on that topic, and maybe create some thought-provoking ideas in our community and see where that leads us. So this is the first one of those events. We're not here to talk about Punjabi American Heritage Society, so I'll stop over right here and introduce Dr. Broad. He's a cardiologist. He's been in our area for quite a few years, so welcome Dr. Ravinder Broad.
Thank you, Tej. This is a very intimidatingly distinguished audience, and I won't take much time, but I'll tell you the background, how this came about. There's a anecdote told about Bertrand Russell, and as you know, Bertrand Russell was an atheist. And I've read this many times, different variations of the story. Apparently, somebody asked him, what do you think about the future? And he says, if there's a third world war, the only philosophy that can carry mankind forward would be Sikhism. And so somebody said, well, that's good. So why would you need a third world war? He said, well, the Sikhs of today are so ignorant. They've trapped their philosophy so that it cannot get out of their hands. I think the story is made up, but it makes the point that as Sikhs we realize we have a great philosophy, and we also realize that we need to get it out. And there's a tradition among Sikhism, and I don't want to talk too much about Sikhism, but that there have always been keepers of your knowledge. There's a Bhai Gurdas, when Guru Sahib was alive, and then Bhai Mani Singh in my mind. I mean, those were the people who kept the flame of the philosophy alive. And if there's anybody else, I don't want to embarrass the speaker, but if there's anybody in my mind who's keeping the flame alive, that's a speaker today. And usually I like to speak about their accomplishment extempore, except they're so extensive for the gentleman I'm going to introduce that it's hard to sort of speak extempore. So I want to talk to you about Dr. Harbans Lal. He's been around for so long. He's known some of the leading figures of history. He was associate of Master Tara Singh, and started from 54. He was, I don't know many people know this, he was president of All India Sikh Student Federation. He was the founder of the 6th Secretary Association, but he's a distinguished academic. He retired in 2000 as a professor and department head for neurosurgery in University of North Texas. He has more than 300 papers to his credit, and his research is so extensive that he had a 2-hour program by American Society of Neurosurgery, Neuroscience, Neuropharmacology, devoted to his research. But more than being a Sikh, he was one of those who were honored with as the Nishani Khalsa, as the 300th founding of the Khalsa. So that tells you the vast experience and how high he's held among the scholars of Sikhism. But we're not here to talk about Sikhism. He's one of those who's reached out as a member of our community to interfaith. For example, the Unity Day USA, which represents 14 faiths, has honored him for a Lifetime Achievement Award for promoting unity among faiths in the United States. Imam Deen Muhammad awarded him the Umar Award in recognition of his lifetime contribution to interfaith understanding. He has been an Ambassador of Parliament of World Religion since 2009, and he is the founding president of Academy of Sikh Granth Studies. He promotes scholarly studies on their behalf. He's written extensive books, reviews, and given lectures. So we are very honored and humbled in his presence. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Dr. Harbans Lal.
Thank you, Dr. Saab. Thank you, and thank you all of you taking your time off on the Friday night when people have other things to do. You came here for this discussion. Go put your question and it tells you what will be 50 years from now. And they said to inaugurate, they invited President Obama and the Prime Minister of Canada to inaugurate such a supercomputer, and they both came with a function, banquet, dinner, and they said, President Obama, you inaugurate and try to ask your question. What question about 50 years from now? So he logged on. His question was, what will be the front page of New York Times 50 years from now? It churned the data, and here came the front page of New York Times. And that said, Mr. Rodriguez has been elected president. Vice president is a Chinese name, and the Chinese will be the second language in the school. All done, the economy is going well. No problem with United States. So they asked, okay, let's ask Prime Minister of Canada. So he goes and churns the computer. What will be 50 years? The whatever their newspaper is. What is the newspaper? Globe. So what is the front page of Globe 50 years from now? And it churned and printed something, and the Prime Minister looking at it and not saying anything. So Mr. Obama said, Prime Minister, we are anxious to know what is 50 years from now in Canada. Why don't you read it? He's still not reading. He says, we are very anxious. He says, I can't read it. It's all in Punjabi. I'm going to talk to you today a topic very close to me, my heart, and other people too. And when Dr. Broad invited me, I said, you like me to talk to on this subject? I never presented this in public. This was talking among friends. He said yes. So I said okay. So I said first time I want to share some thoughts on this question, since we are in this country over a century now, and this question has to come today or tomorrow. Sikh is universal. So what are the challenges and opportunities to operationalize its universality in this culture? Here are the things I like to share with you. What is a universal religion? How others operationalize to be universal? Did Guru meant Sikh to be universal? What is the impact of how Sikhs define themselves today? And I will talk about Sikhi, Gurmat, Sikhism. To me, they mean different. Sikhi means the same as Gurmat, but Sikhism means something different than Sikhi and Gurmat, and we'll talk about it. Are there new opportunities? What is universal? That applies universally. That is for all similarly situated individuals, regardless of culture, race, gender, religion, nationality, sexuality, or any other distinction feature. Operationalizing of religion as universal is not concoction of counter rituals. I want to make this point. Universalization is not to concoct a counter ritual to fit in a culture, but it is engagement with other communities on issues of importance to civil societies. Because some of us have tendency to come up with another counter ritual, and we think we are universalizing, sharing with our community. That is not universalization. Operationalization of religion's universal teachings means to specify the extension of our religious concepts. What will and will not be applicable in a particular culture. How to operationalize Sikhi's universal teaching. Defining Sikhi principles, doctrines, concepts, away from any fuzziness, as to make them distinguishable and measurable, and to apply them as practical behaviors. Examples in medicine, we say we should promote healthy livings. But what does that mean? Medicine will mean various indicators of diet, exercise, lifestyle, medicine, longevity. We will operationalize healthy living into broken up very specific aspects. In operationalization of their universal doctrines, and what can we learn from them? Let's review some of the religion. Now, I want to bring the case of Buddhist here. A case study of past century in USA with Buddhists. Let's compare Sikhs and Buddhists because we have very many common things. Sikhs and Buddhists, both foreign religions, are on arrival in America. Indian and Punjabis were mostly Sikhs who came a century ago. Japanese and Chinese were Buddhists a centuries ago when they arrived in this country. And they all came from Asia is same, just over a century ago. There were similar working skills. We worked on the transcontinental railroads in the beginning. Those were our skills, both of them. We had a similar problems of New World. There was a discrimination for both Buddhists and Sikhs. There were language difficulties, could not marry, could not bring women. All these problems are common that we face at that time. But now we differ. 100 years later, 110, 120 years later, we differ. Or more are from Indian race. Very small local converts. Buddhist, only 1 in 3 are Asians. 75% Buddhists today are American converts. In the same period of time, starting with the same population, same problems. Today, Sikhs and Buddhists differ in America. Sikhs grew through birth rate and immigration, reaching population of about 400,000 or close to 500,000 today. Buddhists, in comparison, grew by conversion and Americanization to attain a population of 6 million today in the same period. Buddhism is today in America third largest religion, behind Christianity and Judaism, very close to reaching Islam in the United States. There are more Buddhists than Unitarian, Christian, Universalists. There are more than Hindus, more than Vaikons, more than even New Agers or Baha'is from them. Sikhs in comparison today, lost in decimals. There are reviews from the Pew Commission, and I went to their office and I said, why you publish data on all religion and not on Sikhs? They said, we collected all the data on Sikhs, but when put the decimals, Sikhs disappeared. Buddhists in America today are out of their monastery and they are in our living rooms. Buddhism is no longer an Asian concept, but an American reality. Let's go to other religions. Christian examples. Christians have exported, for example, term of God and religion beyond its origin from the Middle East, Greece, Roman context. They were there, they brought in America, and the concept of God is here with everyone. Westerns, secularists exported idea of democracy beyond its European and American context. Islamic examples. Sufism among Americans. We have a Sufi club in Dallas. The president, the secretary, and 90% of membership is local Americans. United Nations recently celebrated Rumi's 800th birthday, United Nations. And United Nations Secretary General said the following, there that Sufism, Rumi, that the identical nature of the ideals exposed by Rumi and United Nations principles. United Nations principles and Rumi's teaching, they said, were similar. And now you look at it, Guru Nanak's teaching. United Nations similar, but they did not acknowledge that. The Rumi's, his messages mirrored in United Nations Charter of Declaration of Human Rights. It's a Guru Nanak's message which is reflected in the Charter of Human Rights. But they said his Rumi's messages mirrored in United Nations Charter and Declaration of Human Rights, and we must live up to his legacy. Hindus. Today, we say that there is one of the problem, and that's a reality, is the problem of language. We are translating English. Well, our Hindu friends have succeeded. Word dharma, term karma, term meditation, term yoga, even Gandhism occupy place in English dictionaries. So they sold their term to the language. University of New Orleans celebrates Holi. They are all local people celebrating Holi. United Nations declares June 21st as International Day of Yoga. United Nations declares June 21st as International Day of Yoga. And they just don't declare. 193 members of United Nations General Assembly passed that resolution. 193 members of the General Assembly establishing International Day of Yoga. And this is happening in Times Square, this yoga. And from this picture, how many Hindus are included in this? This yoga has Americanized Americans. Not only, and again, Secretary General spoke in the assembly, and he said, yoga is a sport that can contribute to development and peace. Yoga can even help people in emergency situation to find relief from. And he called upon all nations and civil societies to adopt yoga. Even the people who are not religious, they are merrymakers, revelers in England. The southern England adopted yoga in their functions. They are holding yogas. United Nations declared October 2 Gandhi's birthday as International Day of Non-Violence. Well, Guru Arjan, Guru Tegh Bahadur, all gurus, non-violence, where it started. But credit goes to Gandhi. UN declares October 2 Gandhi's birthday as International Day of Non-Violence. Assembly desiring to secure a culture of peace, tolerance, understanding, and non-violence through this day invites the states, UN bodies, regional and non-governmental organizations, and individuals to commemorate the day, including through education and public awareness. The United Nations is spreading the Day of Non-Violence when our Guru Arjan is the first prophet who gave the message of non-violence. UN Secretary General message on the International Day of Non-Violence. On this day, October 2, I call on all people to counter the forces of intolerance, advocate global citizenship, and forge human solidarity based on Mahatma Gandhi's teachings. 6. Where do we stand? Did Sikhs ever operationalize their universal teachings? Answering yes, but in Guru's period. Let's go over before we go in the Sikh case. Who are the Sikhs? Well, definition by non-Sikh scholars. Their definition for the purpose of institutionalizing, making the religion as organized religion. Then there are court-mandated definition for opportunistic purposes. Defined for a place among religions of the world, people came up and they say that this is a world religion, what the future will be. And there is another, United Nations Human Rights. United Nations Human Rights gives each individual to define himself. In other words, I call myself Sikh, and this is my human right to define myself as Sikh. You cannot say whether I am Sikh or not Sikh. But Guru had in mind, and then comprehend the implication of that. Guru Gobind Singh, when he gave Panch Kakar, he also said how the Sikhs will define. There are Panch Nash also. Well, okay, I guess that comes later. Let us see how Oxford Dictionary defines Sikhs. Sikh religion, a monotheistic religion founded in Punjab in 15th century by Guru Nanak. That's the definition from the scholars and the English dictionaries. Sikhs, member of an Indian monotheistic sect founded in 15th century in Punjab. Sikhism, religious tenets of the Sikhs. I should mention here the Sikhism term did not exist before British. Equivalent of term Sikhism does not exist in Guru Granth Sahib, Bhai Gurdas, Bhai Namdal. This term is entirely foreign brought to us by British or colonial powers. And they defined it, what is Sikhism, what Sikhs practice. When first article was written about Sikhism in Encyclopedia Britannica, in that same year they describe Guru Nanak teaching, describe Majanjit Singh, his 34 wives, his drinking, and this and that, all in one chapter. Yes, Khushwant Singh, who in the second edition said, no, you have to separate Sikhism from Sikhi, and he wrote into 2 chapters. So what are the implications of this particular definition in Western dictionaries? World dictionaries pigeonhole us as a distinct but trivial minority. Sikh and Sikhi today are wrongfully identified by Indian origin, Punjabi language, Punjabi custom, visibility characteristics, wealth accumulation, Sikhs are rich, technology, etc., military culture, and even religious fanaticism. So this is all we are defined in the by foreign scholars and English dictionaries. As Sikhs to extinguish the following 5 definers from the Sikh definition. Panjnash. A Sikh commits to Dharmanash, who becomes free from socially imposed bonds of religiously obligatory practices and customs. Sikh is who becomes free from socially imposed bonds of religiously obligatory practices and customs. Sikh is who does karmanash, who wipes out all past karmic accounts. Third, kurnash, who gives up all influences of inheritance and caste, Hindu caste and all subcaste, and all artificial social strata are to be destroyed, so that all human beings become blended into one family, all are blended on a democratic basis, all are treated as equal, none is considered higher or lower. Fourth, Shramnash, who discards discrimination based on hereditary professional distinction. Generation. Whether professional, soldier, tradesman, unskilled or skilled laborer, and business person are given equal respect and status. Last one, fifth, Brahmanash, discard doubts and practices of empty rituals prescribed by Brahmanism or the dogmatic religious code. I should say Brahmanism means clergyism, whether it's a Brahman or Mullah or Bhai, Pandit, this and that category. That whatever dogmatic religion they impose upon us, Guru Sahib can they or Nash Karat become Sikh. I found this cartoon in the paper. I have got nothing against God. It's his fan club I cannot stand. And I'm going to talk about a little bit about Brahmanism and Bhaiism, Panditism. I could not find a Sikh cartoon, but I found this little infant child by dipping in the water. Couple of months ago, a friend of mine who is a very high person in the university said, Harbans-ji, you did not come to my function. I said, what was the function? Oh, my 21 days old daughter was to be baptized, and I had a function in my home, I invited, you didn't come. I said, 21 days old daughter is going to be baptized. Guru Sahib came in, did she know what it means? Sir dena hai, commit karna hai, even against the right, you have to be adult. लेकिन भाई जी ने अपने 500 एक डॉलर लेने वास्ते करने वास्ते और यार पढ़ा दी थी तो एक ही दिन की बच्ची ने अमृत का It's just an example and there are many more, you know. Clerics after prophets pigeonhole religions by concocted rituals to construct religious boundaries of ethnicity. By false promises कि तुम सामने इतने पैसे दे जाओ अकाउंट पर रखोगे स्वर्ग में जाओगे father will जाएगा, the grandfather will जाएगा, और another grandfather will Fanatism, including violence. You convert somebody, kill him, and तो हम स्वर्ग में पूरा मिलेंगे. Psychic blindness. Psychic blindness, what we do because of what they tell us to do is terrible. One has to be psychically rearranged to follow those things, but we follow every day. One, gods of religion become more important than treasures they are guarding. Organization of religion exerts greater impact than the truth it propagates. Symbols of religion taken as more important than value they symbolize. Prescription paper is more revered than taking of medicine it prescribes. This is what happens when we follow the clergy, what we call Brahmanism. Who entered into this Sikhism and these definition is this and exclusive. Colonial powers, British. Our Pracharya, Godman, Pandit, example is Pant Prakash, Singh Sabha. I should comment on the Pant Prakash. Ratan Singh Pangu wrote Pant Prakash. And story is that when British went to Punjab, they conquered Punjab, defeated us, then they wanted to know that we are going to rule Sikhs. Who are they? We want to know more, so we are more effective rulers. So they asked Macaulay to translate Guru Granth Sahib, and Ratan Singh Pangu, Deputy Commissioner ने बुला के अपने शिमले 2-3 में रख के 2-3 दफा कि you tell me कि कौन Sikh है. Well, he was one of the clergy and he was honest, good Sikh. So उन्होंने कहा कि मेरा फर्ज है कि मैं उन्हें discourage करां कि पंजाब ते ज़्यादा रहने की plans ना बनाओ. So he told them in great length कि Guru Gobind Singh inherited or took by force kingdom from Mughals. So Guru Gobind Singh Mughals de Janashin hai, and Guru Gobind Singh gave that right to Sikhs. So Sikh considered this is their holy gift from Guru Gobind Singh, and they will give last drop of their blood to protect it. The Tonu Punjab da Raja nahi dena, it's better you don't make plan and you get out. So this was his purpose. So he made up story after story. Sikhs ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਗੇ ਉਹ ਜੰਗ ਮੰਗਦੇ ਆਗੇ, ਦੰਗਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਤੇ ਮੰਗਾ, ਘੋੜਾ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਆਗੇ, etc. etc. And Raj Karega Khalsa, that all came from Ratan Singh Pangu's Pant Prakash, and this big book is now available in English translation. So his purpose was good. He was honest person, but somehow we pigeonholed us. Us tradition to and colonial power came and they said, if you want to become modern, you learn English and convert your religion into English. What? Converting religion into English vocabulary, you have to accept their vocabulary, their model of religion, a European model of religion we have to accept because we are becoming international. So we got off into it. जब खालसा रे न्यारा तब लगते जो मैं सारा जब है के विप्लव की रीत मैं न करूँ इनके प्रति. It's a very good couplet, but they misinterpreted it. They translated it wrong. They led Sikh clergy to misinterpret Nyara into exclusive. They translate to exclusive, separate, capable of being classified or pigeonholed, self-absorbed, disengaged from communities, haughty, narcissist, insulated, hostile toward other religion, opposed, unlike, variant. Those are the translation clergy class gave us of the word Nyara. So, and from there came the terms, the British gave us the term Sikhism also. Sikhism is the word fifth religion, Sikhism, etc. So Sikhism as religion gave false sense of exclusivity rather than distinction. Guru Sahib sanu distinct brought ke duro pachhaniya jave what we can do, where we can serve, where we can help. उन्होंने exclusive rendered Sikhs handicapped and disabled to operationalize in new world or new culture. That became our handicap. Guru defined what Nyara is in Guru Granth Sahib. There are over 100 verses I found, and let me quote one. Guru Nanak Dev Ji writes in Guru Granth, Satgur Bandhan Tod Nirare, बहुत न घर मजारी है गुरु निराला जेदे बंधन गुरु ने तोड़ देते आगे true guru cuts off my bonds setting me free and makes me distinct and I shall not be cast into the womb of reincarnation again. Guru di definition Nyara di. Nyara actually means distinctive, distinguished, extraordinary, identifiable for good characters, having a special quality, a special style, special attractiveness is Nyara. Distinction in serving humanity in truthful living, brave in war against falsehood, deceit and human evils. A distinguished person is a very successful, famous, important person. For example, his grandfather had a distinguished professor at the university. So distinction we are proud of, but exclusivity they impose on it and we got pigeonholed. Was Sikh ever universalized? Yes, but it was in the Guru's time. There is a testimony of reporters, British travelers, Guru Granth Sahib testimony, and I'll give you a couple of historical reference from Guru's life. But let me mention this Birbal. Birbal was a reporter, a army reporter in the Hindu Rajas naam Pahadi Rajanda, जिन्होंने जी गुरु गोबिंद सिंह नाल लड़ाई सी. गुरु गोबिंद सिंह लड़ाई हो रही है, and this Hindu reporter writes in Persian, Persian language, see this, which was just translated and published in a book. Translation, he says at that time, followers of Guru Gobind Singh, followers of Guru Nanak Dev were spread all over India of that time. India of that time was from Afghanistan to Burma to Ceylon. In this area, he said there is no place where Guru Nanak lived, Naam Leva, Guru Nanak influence, those do not exist. Guru Nanak follow kar diya. We were all over India, all over the country. Same thing, British travelers said that at the time of Guru Gobind Singh or soon after, the India's population, 25% population were Sikh influence or Sikh, to 1/4 of India's population, not 2% like that. Did our founders intend Sikhi to be universal? Guru Nanak Dev बारे भाई गुरदास लिखते हैं बाबा देखे ध्यान तार जलती सब पृथ्वी देश आई. पंजाब का काल नहीं, he is now बाजो गुरु दुबार है कर दी सुनी लुकाई. बाबे पैक बनाया उदासी की रीत चलाई चढ़िया सोदन तरत लुकाई. गुरु ग्रंथ साहब विच आंदा गुरु साहब दा इन्फ्लुएंस ही उगवणों ते अर्थवणों चौचक्की कीयों नवा. Your teachings are the source of light which may shine from the east and the west, the whole world, and spread to enlighten all communities. So, as you know, Guru Nanak Dev Ji traveled world over. I just described you one example. जदों मक्के गए सी. So there is a Tajuddin Naqshbandi who joined Guru Nanak in his tour of the Arabian countries, and he stayed with Guru Nanak about a year and a half to 2 years. Guru Nanak was there 2 years. Now we know only one Sakhi. तो मक्का फिर ऐसी पर थे 2 साल गुरु नानक देव जी की कर रहे हो मक्का पहन दी गाते एक दिन दी हुई. He was very active there in operationalizing his universal message. I just give you one example only. The first time Guru Nanak established what we call Gurdwara, उत्थे उन्होंने नाम पीर दा और से where namaz and kirtan were both done. Guru Nanak Dev Ji वक्त. Then Makkah da event, Makkah Phiran da jada हैगा that you all know, although it did not happen that way. Guru Nanak was not tired and he lied down and somebody found him and ड्रग्स लैक उत्थे ते वो बंदा कोई करे उस जमाने तो nobody कहेगा कि होया, they will kill him right away when they see such a person. So that was not, Guru Nanak was there for several weeks in Makkah before this thing happened. उन्होंने दी अपनी संगत पूरी बन गई सी, फिर उस संगत ने क्या, उन्होंने जिहड़े मुस्लिम संगत सी कि तुसी साडे मक्के आके लोगों को समझाओ, कथा करो. And Guru Nanak went with all those people. Cities head was there, Muslim पीर सारे उत्थे सी जो Guru Nanak ने जिहड़ा उन्होंने दस्या कि रब हर पासे आया. There are 365 questions and answers which are published by Punjabi University, Patiala, किताब छपी हैगी Guru Nanak दे मौके दी. There were, until about 30 years ago, there were 3 buildings in Makkah, built, one in the memory of Sultan Babu, one Baba Farid, and one Guru Nanak Shah Fakir, Makkah de Kor, only few years ago. But one question, Qazi Rukunuddin, जो उन्होंने पहला सिख शहीद बनया, I call him पहला सिख शहीद के Guru Nanak देव दा वो सेवक बन सिख बनया सी को मक्के, ते जदों ओदे मुखालफां ने उन्होंने वटे मार के उन्होंने जो शहादत की शायद की थी, he was the first Sikh shaheed. So what the Dala kita, which is recorded by this Muslim journal in Arabic. Arabic it put there, Fala Allah Masabus. Which religion do you belong to? Guru Sahib answered in Arabic, Abdullah Allah Masbi. I am Allah's servant, I have no religion. Quranic answer. Same thing. Then Pai Gurdas, then Janam Saki write several places Guruji's similar quotation. Then Guru Nanak goes to Sikh. Us wale Gorakhnath Sikh, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸੀ ਉਹ one leader ਸੀ. The most Hindus followed Sikh tradition at that time. So यहाँ पर जान वास्ते किथे जाना सी उन्होंने headquarter. So Guru Nanak dialogue with Hindu religious leaders. You all know, but there are अपने Guru Sahib ने Guru Granth Sahib which record कीता Sikh Gosht which the way I count the question, there are 147 questions are asked of Guru Nanak and he answered. And I brought 3-4 of them as an example for you. Question: कौन मूल, कौन मत, कौन वेला के तेरा जड़ा basis की हैगा? When did your religion started? And what is your religion? And for which period it is useful? Guru Sahib said, when humanity started, when man came to this earth, my religion started. My religion started with the start of humanity. नाम की हैगा सतगुर मत वेला. गुर मत मेरे धर्म का नाम है. वेला केड़ा चंगा हैगा, it's suitable for all times. तेरा कौन गुरु, किसका तू चेला, तेरा गुरु कौन है? गुरु साहब ने कहा शब्द गुरु, मेरा गुरु शब्द है. शब्द गुरु, सुरत धन चेला. तू चेला किसका है? कहते सुरत साड़ी हैगी, वो सिख हैगी. सुरत is the follower, शब्द is the guru. As a matter of fact, there is a whole research on what is Surat. I was writing an article and I found out that Surat term did not exist before Guru Nanak. I wrote to the editor of Hindu Encyclopedia, chairman of the Sanskrit department, Guru Nanak University. I said, Surat, the lafaz origin ki hai, to maina ki hai. Oh, Surat did not exist before Guru Nanak. This was his contribution, his concept as a concept by self-need discussion. शब्द गुरु सुरत तो चला कौन कथा ले रहे नराला और अगर ना जाबरा खासा रे नरालो तो कहीं तू कहना कि मेरा पंथ नराला होएगा. What is the basis? What makes it not exclusive, distinguished? पावजल शब्द लगाना आ रहा. He said the doctrines of के इस दुनिया को बनाने वाला जो हैगा वो शब्द हैगा. He said that's my doctrine. जो this distinction that what I am message I am giving. So Sikh Paigudas एक Sikh तांत मान का चढ़ पे शब्द गुरु के कलाप छपाई बाबे की थी सिद्ध गो शब्द शांत सिद्ध में आई शबद जीती सिद्ध मंडली की तो अपना पंथ ला। सो गुरु साहब ने नज़ारा पंथ किया से गुरु नानक देव ने बढ़ाई शुरू हो गया सीगा, बट बेसिक वार शबद जीती सिद्ध मंडली की तो अपना पंथ ला। Was there a hint in Guru Granth Sahib कि गुरु साहब ने अपना धर्म सारी दुनिया वास्ते बढ़ाया सीगा? Was it Guru's plan to universalize Burma through Guru Granth Sahib? Yes. Here is a very important aspect of Guru Granth Sahib ji rachna hui. Land where Guru Granth Sahib was recited and Bhai Gurdas ne likha was given by a Muslim king Akbar. Akbar gaya si Guru Amardas ji de langar darbar सो और देखा भी ये लंगर बड़ा मस्त है, गुरु साहब बड़ी सेवा कर रहे हैं, आई शुड सपोर्ट। सो ही टोल्ड गुरु जी कि मैं कहूँ 200 बीघे जितने लैंड देना चाहना, सो इट विल क्रिएट फूड एटसेट्रा फॉर योर लंगर। सो गुरु साहब कहते लंगर जो गुरु का लंगर है संतां लवांदा, मैं कहता गिफ्ट ऑफ फाउंडेशन लंगर ही लाना चाहता। सो ही रिफ्यूज टू टेक दैट। So he asked his Salat after Nawazir Sikh and Guru Sahib Janachana man, ready. So they said, give it this way, give a gift to his daughter. ये पंजाब में रिवाज आएगा कि किसी धी को कोई दे धियां साडियां सांझियां होंदियां ते उसका नाम लिखी। So Akbar gave land to daughter of Guru Amardas और Guru Ramdas ji. So Guru Ramdas inherited that gift through that. उसे Amritsar भी रखी, उठे गुरु ग्रंथ साहब की रचना। That was the historical place where I was told that Vedas and Ramayana or Buddhist scripture were also written in that place. It's so sacred. गद्दी जी गुरु साहब ने देनी सी कि गुरु ग्रंथ साहब को और हिंदुओं ने तीरथ गोदावरी जाके साउथ से जाके दी थी। Oh, he had something in his mind when our current eternal guru was being created. कि किथे उनकी बनतर हुई गुरुगद्दी उठे जाके दी थी। These are hymns. 36 leaders, spiritual leaders and authors of Guru Granth Sahib. There is no other scripture which is just not written by their prophet. 36 authors. 22 languages: Sanskrit, Persian, Arabic, Bengali, Marathi, Prakrit, Punjabi. There are 22 languages in Guru Granth Sahib. So there was something in his mind कि Guru Granth Sahib का future किस वास्ते बढ़ा रहे हैं। Let us see in Guru Granth Sahib को view on the keys of universalization. And I give you an example of ocean, river, irrigation, land because it is here. Study background सारा this is a very Guru Nanak Dev ji said Guru Samund नदी पर सिखी नाते जित वड्याई। गुरु समुद्र है, इसे ओशन, गुरु शब्द is ocean, originate from that through rain, through snow, through rivers and rivulets, icebergs, they go all over the world. Guru, the divine wisdom is the bottomless ocean and all of his wisdom is in the form of teachings originate from this ocean as rains and as falling ice to form rivulets and rivers. Sometime puddles, they are of many lengths and depth. When drenched through these rains and rivulets, the whole earth is exalted. The whole earth is exalted by that rain. Guru Ramdas ji साखी हैगी कि Guru Ramdas ji को पंडित है, when they found out that he is creating a तीर्थ center बना रहे सी रामदासपुर जड़ा अमृतसर बनाया, so they got threatened and they had a delegation headed by Mullah, by Santokh Singh Desai, the Holsters साखी और गुरु साहब को गए कहने लगे महाराज तुसी गुरु नानक देव जी का बड़ा उच्चा सुच्चा मिशन प्रचार कर रहे हो, गद्दी ते बैठे दे और असी सारे गुरु नानक देव जी फॉलो रह गए, बट वी डोंट अंडरस्टैंड वन थिंग कि इतनी ऊंची सच्ची चीज हैगी, यू आर गिविंग टू द फार्मर्स एंड दुकानदार एंड ਸਾਰੀ ਵਾਲੇ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਖੁੱਲੀ ਵਰਤਾ ਰਹੇ ਹੈਗੇ। ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉੱਚਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੱਚਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉਹ ਤੇ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸਕਾਲਰ ਕੋਲ ਆਉਂਦਾ, ਬ੍ਰਹਮਣ ਕੋਲ ਆਉਂਦਾ, ਪੰਡਤਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਆਉਂਦਾ, ਉਹ ਜੋ ਡਿਸਟਰੀਬਿਊਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਉਹਦੀ ਉੱਚੀ ਸੱਚਾਈ ਦੀ ਨੀਵਾਂ ਕਰਤਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਨੂੰ ਵਰਤਾ ਰਿਹਾ। So according to Python Coaches, Guru Sahib ने जवाब था वेद पुराण कूप जल जैसे। गुरु साहब ने कहा कि धर्म जोड़ा हैगा जी सिक्ख्या हैगी गुरु की एक पानी हैगा, सारी दुनिया तो ऐसी हैगी। तुसी इहनूं ज़मीन दे हेठां दब के रखते खूह ते कहंदे कि लोकी आउण ते पहले वो खुणन अपने खूह दा साला बनाउण, फिर पानी खिच्चण। जिहड़ा पानी खिच्चणगे थोड़ा जिहा दैट्स नॉट फॉर ओनली फॉर देम, दे कैन नॉट डिस्ट्रीब्यूट आर देयर ओन फॉर। लेकिन जिहड़ा मैनूं गुरु ने सिक्ख्या दी है कि वेद पुराण कूप जल जैसे बरस होए हो किति जैसे सतगुर बाणी मेघ समान बरसे 24 लिखे जहान। सो गुरु की बाणी जी है इस लाइक ए क्लाउड बर्स्ट, बारिश की तरह स्प्रेड एवरीवेयर, ब्रांचेस एवरीवेयर। हर एक आदमी फर्स्ट बनाना है तो हम खूब पढ़ने की लोड़ नहीं आएगी, पंडितां की लोड़, किसी रिचुअल की लोड़ नहीं आएगी। सो गुरु ग्रंथ साहब कहता है नॉर्थ साउथ उत्तर दक्षिण पूर्व और पश्चिम, नॉर्थ साउथ ईस्ट वेस्ट, जय जयकार जय पंथ नरा। So his vision at that time was that it is on the four corners of the world. Let us go about where we are today. Pew Templeton, their foundation research की थी about the global in 2010 they published a result very recently, and they came out with these results. 31% of the world is Christian, Unitarian, Muslims, etc., etc. And then in the top you will see 0.8%. 0.8% includes Sikhs, Vaikons, Bhais, Shintos, etc. 0.1% there is. So that is where we are today. Then there are unaffiliated peoples who believe some kind of power, some kind of creator, but they are not belong to any religion, they don't believe in religion. They do not identify with a particular religion for their spiritual beliefs. For example, belief in universal spirit, laws and truth they believe. There are 16.3% of the world, 1.1 billion people. 1 in 6 people around the globe. Third largest religious group, I still call them religious group. And third largest, equal in size to Catholic population worldwide. So when size sarvsani Sikhi aagi, universal Sikhi aagi, there are positive factors in the West that we can achieve that. It's a universal, is universally suited. That's Guru designed it for. Promise for new world to benefit from Sikhi. New world which is coming, there is a promise that they will benefit from it. 1.1 billion people are now committed who are looking for such a message. Guru's vision that Sikhi would be worldwide. Evidence in Guru Granth Sahib. It is destined to be exported out of India. There are new opportunities. Sikhs are expanding diaspora in all continents. Many more resourceful Sikhs in the West today. New communication technology to replace Sikh government. Sanu payan chathe ko data land की लोड ही नहीं आएगी ना इंटरनेट जिसको गुरु ने इंटरनेट भेजता हैगा we have direct access to Guru, direct access to Shabad. Universality required diversity. You cannot be universal unless there is diversity. By definition, you have to have diversity to be universal. Sikhi specifies specifics for universal principles. They must vary to suit from culture to culture. Like doctor not give same medicine to all patients. Consider age, gender, weight, ethnicity, beliefs, etc. So it will culture to culture, it will vary. Sikhi values diversity. It's a beautiful verse Guru Granth Sahib, Guru Ramdas Ji. मेरे प्रभ साचे एक खेल रचाया, कोई ना किसे जिया पाया। रब की खेड हैगी, रब का ड्रामा हैगा, ਉਹਦਾ डिजाइन हैगा that everybody will be differ from each other. Uniformity ਦੇ सिखी खिलाफ है। भाई संतोख सिंह writes a very beautiful verse अपने जो गोविंद सिंह जी डिस्क्राइब कर रहे हैं, छाए जाती एकता अनेकता बिलाई जाती, पूर्ण मूर्त न होती जो है कृपा निधान की। अगर गुरु गोविंद सिंह was not there, there would have been uniformity and diversity would have flied away. अगर गुरु गोविंद सिंह ना होते, he protected and promoted diversity. छाए जाती एकता हो जाती, अनेकता बिलाई जाती। अगर गुरु गोविंद सिंह ना होते, मूर्त न होती जो है करुणा निधान की। Well, then questions come, where do we start? Well, there are a lot of things, Naam Danish, Naam, Langar, oneness of humanity, Sad, Sangat, environment, and on, and that's it. I'm not going to talk about it, that's a subject of different discussion because there's a very long decision, but we need to get together to come up with a thing. What universal aspects Sikhs are with which we should start, walk out and operationalize. Ek example, Langar, Sikh's unique altruism. Bhai Gurdas says, an altruist Paropkari is a winning trait that nurtures the whole world. Altruist is like sandalwood that lives among the vegetation to impart fragrance to the whole forest. जो सारा लंगर का concept है। We were in Barcelona और लंगर लगे World Parliament region जिथे 8,000 people attended, about 100 regions represented, and because we had a number on the side by side, the local paper front page, instead of saying Parliament of World Region, they said Parliament of Sikh Langar. I mean, that's what they noticed. We had a function at United Nations, and I just called main number. And I said, we want to use the prayer room for a Sikh prayer. So she said, who are you? He said, Sikhs. Oh, that Langar people I know. You have permission. There was a person came from Karachi, flew to New York, and he calls United Nations. He is a Muslim coming from Karachi. He calls United Nations. I need the address of Sikh Gurdwara. क्योंकि मुझे पता है कि एक सिख गुरुद्वारा यूनिवर्सल है, मैं मुस्लिम हूँ, मैं उसे रह सकना, और यूनाइटेड नेशन को पता होगा, बिकॉज वी आर द यूनाइटेड नेशन। उन्होंने न्यूयॉर्क गुरुद्वारा कोई नहीं होता सीधा, and that woman said, I do not know the address of Gurdwara, but I can give you address of a Sikh. वो ले गया, वो कहने जी मैं वो कहने तो सुखी कहने जी मैं कराची तो आया, don't know anybody and I want to know गुरुद्वारा के मैं 5-7 रह के तो वो अपने घर रह गया। I this is right. Also, Langar is not only Gurdwara is a symbol of altruism. We need to expand to food banks, feeding homeless, support for orphanages, support for education, legislative support for healthy food, minimum wages. That's a part of the Langar where we can operationalize this particular principle. Then there is Shabad Langar. Langar chale gur Shabad har todna hove khatiye. गुरु साहब ने कहा कि जरा मेरा शब्द हैगा ये लंगर की तरह बर्ताओ, कोई रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं कि तू हिंदू हैगा, मुसलमान हैगा, सहकारी हैगा, मैं तेरे पर लंगर, दिस इज फॉर एवरीबॉडी. Langar is a free kitchen of Guru's teaching, will always be open and supply will never run short. Guru Sahib कहते खर्चे खसम दी आप खै दी खैर दे बटिए कि सानू रब ने गारंटी की है कि तुसी दे शब्द वर्तारा करोगे तो हम घाटा नहीं पेगा, replenish. You know, we restricted. Guru Granth Sahib तुसी ला जा सकते हैं. I mean, we made so many diwar around our shabad. So here is a last cartoon of the egg. Currently, we are in eggshell. I mean, we all should agree. We are in an eggshell. Well, there are two ways to breaking that eggshell. One is we break from inside, a baby will come up and new life will start. One is somebody else will break and we'll die. There are two choices. We have to break the act. There are two choices. I break ourselves or let somebody else break, and that's a death. Tuto anda param ka mane pya pragash. The Guru took this metaphor and break the Guru Granth Sahib. So my last slide is there's a one choice. Either we operationalize Guru's message in all continents to change people's lives, or we retreat into romantic self-formulation. Either we will disappear, you have this letter, and you tell me where the post office is. So he told him this, behind this building, the post office. So he said, young man, thank you very much, you showed me the way to post office. And he says, tomorrow come to church, and I'll show you the way to heaven. So then he asked him, will you come to church tomorrow? He said, no. He said, why not? He said, you don't know the way to post office, how will you show me the
Thank you very much, Bhai Sahib. We'll take a few questions for Bhai Sahib. Any questions, please?
I can speak louder.
Yes.
Of course, this is time to introspect and time to learn from each other, question ourselves, and look for answers. Can you hear Dr. Harbans Lal?
See, I speaker. I cannot hear the question.
Why did you come up?
So this question is for everybody. Since Dr. Harbans Lal is a scholar, eminent scholar among us, it's good to ask this question now. So what I was saying from there was, this is time to question ourselves. This is time to look for answers. Of course, we do get sometimes answers from either the scriptures, Guru Granth Sahib, the history, which might be sometimes not as objective as one would like it to be. But still, one has to start somewhere. The questions need to be answered. And for the questions to be answered, the questions need to be raised. They need to be put up. So, of course, look different with 5 Ks. Is that the start or is that the end? One, I think most Sikhs of Punjabi origin who think they are closer to the Sikhi quote this quotation from Guru Gobind Singh ke "Reh hi rahe, soi Sikh mera." Okay, I just wanted to ask and have him confirm it. Of course, we need to have a big heart to actually ask these questions and accept the truthful answers. Dr. Harbans Lal.
To me, our future lies in guidance from Guru Granth Sahib, guidance from Shabad. Guru Gobind Singh Ji, the last word was that Guru Granth Sahib. He did not recommend even his own body, anything external, this and that. So that is I think if we are going to survive, we are going to survive because we are Sikhs of Guru Gobind Singh and Guru Granth Sahib and 10 Guru की जोत Guru Granth Sahib है. बाकी में सारी चीजें हैं. This is a, any large community, any large nation has the central doctrines, have many organizations, many institutions, Guru Sahib whether they encourage institutions. So Sikhan ਦੀ distinction ਹੈਗੀ ਉਹ ਹੈਗੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਸੂਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਚੱਲਣ ਦੀ। ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੀ distinction ਹੈਗੀ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਨੇ ਆ, ਇਨਸਾਫ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਲੜਨੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, equality ਨੂੰ practice ਕਰਨੇ ਆ। That is the distinction of Sikhs. Physical distinction is many times is very handy because then you are recognized कि वो Sikh कि कोई ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਤਕਲੀਫ ਆ ਗਈ, एक्सीडेंट होया, कोई सिख मदद करेगा, कितने सिख है उसे रहता है because you can recognize. Recognition really is very helpful, it multiplies. I believe that the Khalsa is a very important institution of Sikhs. Khalsa is not Sikh, Khalsa is an institution of Sikhs, and that institution has a specific commitment and specific quality and specific history and specific role to play, and it should be protected and promoted. Similarly, there are many other institutions which should be promoted, protected for our goals. So basically, this is my answer, that our distinction lies in what people will remember us. Dunya seva karni hai, Guru Sahib, Bhai Gurdas said again and again and again and again. And we have to look for Guru Granth Sahib, kyunki badiyan cheezan sade तुकां जिहड़ियां हैगियां रात पैरी मार के, that's not Guru Gobind Singh, it's not written in Guru Dasam Granth. So सारियां चीज़ां अपने पंथ प्रकाश या रतन सिंह पंगू brought up these things for a particular purpose, and they have all to play. They have all to play at that time, role for today. But we have to distinguish that there are institutions of Sikh is only term that we are either, because I am very annoyed by the term Sikhism because that's very misinformed. Sikh is the institution, main institution is Guru Granth Sahib. Main institution is Sangat or Bani. Satsang jehड़ा है गुरुद्वारा है, Bani और Sangat is another main institutions. Guru Granth Sahib and Sangat जिथे विचार होंगी. I mean many places where गुरुद्वारा विचार पे पाबंदी लगाई दी, कहीं कोई विचार बोले ना आगे झगड़ा हो जाता है. So why is there गुरुद्वारा का विचार, गुरबाणी विचार नहीं होते? गुरु जब गुरु अर्जन देव जी फर्स्ट टाइम उथे दरबार साहब पहला प्रकाश किया, उਦੋਂ पोथी साहब कहते थे गुरु ग्रंथ साहब का पहला प्रकाश किया, पहली कथा की जी भाई संतोख सिंह हैज रिटन दैट और पेज ऑन इट, और पहले क्या पाठ करो बुद्ध सो कि पाठ करो अपने इंटेलेक्ट ना, एंड वी डू पाठ विद नॉट इंटेलेक्ट, सुनो ना पैसे दे के टूने टाने करने वास्ते वो करते आ गए. सो सारी डिस्टिंक्शन जी है गुरु की सिक्ख्या होनी चाहिए. वी बेटर ऑफ टू डिपेंड ऑन गुरु ग्रंथ साहब बिकॉज साढ़े को पूरा सपोर्ट रिटन है, कोई हिस्टोरिकल इंटरप्रिटेशन है कि एक गल किसी लिखी से नहीं लिखी हुई है नहीं हुई, झगड़े पैंट की लोड़ नहीं आई. दैट इज माई व्यू. आई थिंक दैट वाज योर क्वेश्चन.
Thank you.
I have a couple of questions. This is more of my personal question. It's two questions. One is from my son. My son is born and raised here. He is studying in India. So it was very shocking. He told me very clearly that Punjabi culture and Sikhi is not compatible. What he meant is basically what he went from here, he's born and raised here, he went there after high school. The culture he saw based on falsehood, drinking, everything, Kaam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar, what he experienced, everything around him, he said, Sikhi cannot survive in that culture. So that's the one question. The second question is, like you just said, like, you know, part kari jana without intellect and all the things. I mean, I recently went to India, and of course we are from Amritsar. So we go to the gurdwaras, like Shida Gurdwara, okay? So when I was a young guy and, you know, used to go, there was like a couple hundred people, 300 people, 400. I mean, right now it's like thousands of people, thousands. You don't have any place to go there and sit. So I was talking to my dad, he's in 80s. I said, are these people are really getting more religious, or these people are making a deal with the God कि मैं सारा दिन झूठ बोलना है, कर्म पुठे काम करने हैं, ते अज आके हुण आते आके चौपाई साहब दा पाठ कर लेना ते जिहड़ा करदे आ ਉਹ सारे दिन दा चौपैया ते चुपहरा ते सुखमनी साहब दा पाठ, all those things. Is there some relationship with that? So there's two questions. Thank you.
Well, I did lot of work on collecting young people's opinion. Why our youngsters are not coming to Gurdwara, staying home? But I'm writing an article, the title was Skipping the Guru. I'm going to skip Guru. And basically that, I have a lot of data and about 25-page article on it. Youth tell me what distract them to Gurdwara. But basically one fundamental thing, Uncle ji ਅਸੀਂ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਜਾਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, Guru Sahib ਦੀ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਸੁਣਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ. But two things. Number one, we don't understand what they are saying because they use a language, they use a gibberish language. To them, it's a gibberish language because they don't understand. Second, they want us in Gurdwara not to become Sikh of Guru, but to adopt their culture. वो कहने से गुरुद्वारा नहीं जाना चाहते because they force upon us our grandparents' culture. This is their thing. So if we keep on imposing the culture part Punjabi, Punjabi, I don't say Punjabi is a bad culture, very good culture, but young people don't go to Gurdwara for that purpose. So we want to do kirtan with our guitar or sitar, you should let us. Why should you impose us कि यार वो सीखे? We want to learn Sikh in English. Why you impose on us कि पंजाबी पहले पढ़ो कहाँ आएगी? I mean भाई जी कहेंगे पंजाबी पढ़ो पंजाबी मैं कहा भाई साहब जी अगर पंजाबी पढ़ भी गए 10 साल तक तो गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब समझ नहीं आनी क्योंकि they cannot be that proficient in पंजाबी के तो समझ आएगी. Why make them wait? And असली रीज़न है उनके जाने आगे क्यों ना ਉਹ ਸਾਹਮਣਾ ਕਹਿਣ ਕੇ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਕਹੋ ਕਿ ਅਗਰ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਗਿਆ ਕੀ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੰਦ ਕਰ ਦੇਣਾ ਤੇ ਭਾਈ ਦੀ ਨੌਕਰੀ ਚੱਲ ਜਾਣੀ ਹੈਗੀ. ਸੋ ਦੇ ਵਾਂਟ ਟੂ ਕੀਪ ਇਨ ਗਾਡ ਨਾ ਸਮਝ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ. I mean ਜੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਟੀਚ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਮੱਕਾ ਮਦੀਨਾ ਦੇ 2 ਸਾਲ ਰਹੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਦੇ ਐਬਸੋਲੂਟ ਨੋ ਕਮਿਊਨੀਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਇੱਕ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਈ ਉੱਥੇ ਦੇ ਹੀ ਸਪੋਕ ਅਰਬਿਕ ਸਾਰੇ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਆਨਸਰ ਆ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਗਿਆ ਹੈਗੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਉਠਾਕਰ Rule of Gurbani. What does it mean? Can you rule? That's not rule of Maharashtrian word. Rule means universal. Okay, rule of Thakar, rule of Gurbani. मेरा रब universal है इसका तो बाणी से तो universal है. He told them that way. असी उठे I went to Huzur साहब तो उठे चौहान हाल है उन्होंने सामने reception दी with a music concert, and they called their musician very high class और आगे ना थी. ना पर्ची लेके उन्होंने भेजी कि तुसी नामदेव जी दा भगत है ना महाराष्ट्र नामदेव. So मैं कहा नामदेव जी दा एक शब्द सुना दे. वाह वो उन्होंने मेरी पर्ची रख दी थी. जब खत्म हुआ तो कहने जी हम सारी we could not do whatever you say because we don't understand. What did you want? मैं कहीं understand करना कि नाम जी इधर तुझे एक शब्द समझ सुनाते थे नाम जैसे शहर में चाहते हैं. He said I did not know that नाम जो शब्द है गुरु ग्रंथ साहब I don't know any. There are 63 शब्द are found in गुरु ग्रंथ. मैं कहीं 63 शब्द आए. उन्हें माफी मांगी जी ऐसी जो ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਗੋਹਣੇ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਨੇ ਪੂਨਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਸੀ 284 ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ. ਉਹਦੀ ਦੀਵਾਰ ਕਾਮਨ ਹੈਗੀ ਨਾਮਦੇਵ ਦੇ ਮੰਦਿਰ ਨਾਲ. ਦੀਵਾਰ ਇਜ਼ ਕਾਮਨ. ਉਹ ਮੰਦਿਰ ਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਨੂੰ ਅੱਗ ਲਗਾ ਕੇ ਜਲਾਤਾ ਹੈ ਫੌਜ. ਉਹ ਜਲਣ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਹੋਇਆ ਤੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਵੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੀ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਚ ਪਰਸੇ ਵਾਲੇ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਹੈਗੇ ਉਹ ਕहीं ਸਾਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ. ਵੇਰ ਸਾਰੇ. So we are not sharing, we are not opening up. ये सारी प्रॉब्लम हैगी सी बंद हैगी. अपनी what I say कि जो साड़ा मैसेज हैगा वो देर दीवारों बना रहे हैगे. पहले मिट्टी दीवारों बनाने सी, फिर इटन दियाँ, फिर पत्थर दियाँ, लोहे दियाँ और फलाद दियाँ दीवारें. और दीवारों के बाहर फोटो लगा रहे हैं, नारे लिख रहे हैं, ये पता लगन देने को अंदर गया. We don't have access to shovel. So I don't know this answer your question or not, but we have to accommodate our youth and not impose upon them our cultural part. जिस तरह तुझे अपना अगर तुझे अपनी गिटार में शब्द पढ़ना है तो पढ़ो, जिस तरह करना है आगे तो सीखो. You let them in and they'll come their terms.
Professor Sal, you talk about the gurus. We all learned today that they meant our Sikh to be a universal religion. And I think we keep limiting, we keep kicking people out on one basis or another, and we're making it basically a Jatanada Sikh. And it's pretty much limited to Gurdwaras. There's so many restrictions, how you read Guru Granth, Behad, and there's a lot of fear, restrictions, and so forth. And we're, like I said, we're limiting it to Jat Sikh, and we're limiting it to Gurdwaras. What do you recommend? How do we get it out to the world? I mean, it's the greatest, great teaching, great values. There's answers to everything, how to live our life. But it's how do we get it out? That, like I said, the doctor has the medicine, and the prescription's been written. How do we get it to the people?
That's a long thing.
Well, maybe a quick and short.
The central message is that we should adopt Guru Granth Sahib as our Guru. It has everything. We adopt Guru Granth Sahib as Guru. We can have a Guru Sahib बड़े साफ कहते हैं कि जड़ सारी tradition हैगी, Guru ते संगत की tradition हैगी. That means बाणी ते संगत और वो दी विचार is a very important thing. अगर वो गुरुद्वारे विचार नहीं कर देंगे तो you have to organize a group, vichar groups, अपने घरों में और के दे विचार group, and then you sit down together without any restriction. The गुरबानी विचार, जब हम गुरबानी विचार करेंगे, गुरबानी आएगी, all these problems will not be there. ये पुराने जमाने से कौन ऐसी हो, तुम्हारा नहीं करते सीखे, people came to them, people came to them. So, but that's a long thing. The operational aspect है, that's we have to have a camp of scholars and everybody and discuss them.
You know, for those with more questions, you realize Professor Sahib will be there tomorrow and we can still chat with him. One last question.
One of my ongoing concern, Professor Sahib, is that the teachings of the Gurus are great, a universal message, as you pointed out. But starting from the Golden Temple, I've been to many countries. One of the small countries I went to was Panama, and our taxi driver was driving and said, "Here is a Sikh temple." And the priest, little son, he was speaking fluent Spanish because he was born there. But my concern and complaint is that when it comes to practicing those teachings, that's where we fail. We continue to practice the caste system as those who believe in the caste system. So in that, we are no better. We ignore the teachings of the Gurus. And second concern is that's why our religion is not spreading. Starting from the Golden Temple, everywhere in the country, wherever the Gurdwaras are, they're politicized. In the Golden Temple, almost every other month, new priests are installed by politicians. They have no freedom. So the other question I have is, to continue with the first questioner, Dr. Har, I would like to comment on that. Is it absolutely essential that we practice the 5 Ks, or you can be a good Sikh even if you don't observe? Obviously, you and I aren't friends.
We are Sikh. So that is our human right given by United Nations.
Thank you very much all took your time to come here. I appreciate Harbans Lal ji जिन्होंने संगीत सब समझाया है और साडा फर्ज है जितों चंगी दुआ मिलती है उतों जाके लीजिए जिस तरह हम समझ आओ धर्म की उस तरह समझ की कोशिश करिए इन्हें बड़े चंगे तरीके दसिया गोल्डन टैंपल बाद गुरु नानक जी पहला होया गुरु नानक देव जी शब्द जो है काल वस्तु आया है इस शब्द की आराधना करो थोड़ी जी सुरत है और परमात्मा जुड़ो वाहिगुरू खालसा बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद हरबंस साहब जी बहुत दिल फ्रेंड हैं बहुत खुशी होती है इसी तरह आया करो दसिया करो थैंक यू ऑल
Give your comments, please. If you need any, if you think you have any suggestions for further topics, because this is first in the lecture series. Hopefully, Dr. Lal will be back again. If you have more speakers in your mind, please let us know what you feel about us. And have a great weekend. Thank you.
डॉक्टर हरबंस लाल ने बहुत ही सोहने तरीके नाल दस्सिया अज कि जो साडे सिख धर्म की फिलासफी है जो गुरुओं का मैसेज है उस मैसेज नूं असी आम लोगों ताईं पहुँचाउण विच बहुत कोताही कीती है। असी जो सिख धर्म नूं सिर्फ गुरुद्वारियां तक सीमित रखिया। अज जो उन्होंने लैक्चर दिता उन्होंने दस्सिया भी सब तो वड्डा जो सिक्खी का मैसेज होएगा सेवा करनी दुनिया में जाके सारियां दूजियां कम्यूनिटीज़ दे नाल इंटरैक्ट करना। तो जो गुरु शब्द का जो मैसेज है जिन्नी देर थी लोगों ताईं वो नहीं असी लैके जाते तो असी जिहड़े रिचुअल्स दे विचों नहीं निकलते तो जो सेवा की स्पिरिट है वो लोगों नाल जाके असी जदों जाके सेवा करांगे गरीबां की मदद करांगे जात पात उत्ते उठ के सोचांगे तां ही है जिहड़ा सिख धर्म है दूजे धर्मां दे लोगों ताईं पहुँच सकेगा तो सिक्खी का जो पसार है वर्ल्ड लैवल ते यूनीवर्सलाइजेशन ऑफ सिखिज़म तां ही होएगी।